Hola amigos, ¿qué tal? Stuart here from Spain Speaks with an update video. Today we'll have a bit of a chat about what's happened in Spain over the last week or so while I go for a walk with my dog Mia, so let's go. Now I'll get the works update out of the way. As you can see, a bit's been done over the last week or so, not a lot. I predicted a 2-week time period for this work to be carried out, and I think that's going to be more or less on the mark there. The tree has had some roots taken away. They've filled in this part here with concrete. They've also taken away 2 parking spots, so I'm sure that people won't be happy about that, but still waiting to put down the pavement, and not sure when that is going to happen. And what they've also done, as you can see over here, is they've marked some more spaces where the footpath or sidewalk is a little bit out of whack, and the pink markings there showing where they're going to do more works. So another week at least before they finish, and with those extra things that they have to do there, I reckon 2 more weeks and they should be done, but we'll see. Now I had a few comments from people about these caravans, what they're doing here. Obviously new viewers to the channel because I've spoken about this before on numerous occasions, but basically, and I'll get this out of the way again, this is just an area here in this town where people can park their caravans and not have to pay for it. People park the caravan here throughout the year. Then, whenever they go on holidays, they come and pick it up, go and have their holidays, and then come back and leave the caravan here again. And currently, there's no one living in this caravan behind me, for example. So, what's been happening in Spain over the last week or so? Well, the women's football team has again been dominating headlines because, as we know, they have been taking strike action, refusing to play, refusing to train, and they had an important game yesterday, and people were worried that that game would have to be forfeited or at least played without the best players, but fortunately that didn't happen. The majority of the players who were taking strike action decided to go back to work earlier in the week, calling off their strike, calling off the disputes, because a lot of the demands that were on the table were met by the Spanish Football Federation. Basically, it comes down to sacking important people in important positions inside that federation, and the women in the end got their way and some important heads were removed. The Spanish women's team, as we know, World Cup champions. They won that championship back in August. They got to the top of the heap as far as women's football is concerned. And then, as we know, also all hell broke loose, and the subsequent weeks after that victory have been marred by some very ugly events. And as I said a minute or so ago, the players have been calling for sweeping changes in this federation and sweeping changes as far as women's football is concerned in Spain. They're saying that they have been suffering injustices for the last 40 years and things have to change. Injustices like sexism in the sport, inequality, and the list goes on. But it looks like they're finally getting that change, as I said. But let's be honest about this. Unfortunately, women's sport in general still has a long way to go if it wants full equality with men's sport, or at least that's my opinion. Now, another piece of news that has been dominating the press over the last week in Spain is this rumoured amnesty that the government is trying to work out with Catalonian independence politicians, mainly Carles Puigdemont, who, as we know, lives in Brussels. He wants to come back to Spain, and an amnesty is on the table so that Pedro Sánchez and his government can be re-elected for the next 4 years. And let's just say that this issue is still dividing the country. And the country will show this division tomorrow, the 24th of September, when all of the people that are against this alleged amnesty hit the streets in cities like Madrid. The opposition party, the main opposition party, the Partido Popular, has called a rally for tomorrow, and apparently, from what I hear, lots of people are going to go to this rally. Spanish streets will be awash with the Spanish flag as the more conservative members of Spanish society hit the streets. Hopefully it's going to be a peaceful event, but you never know if a few agitators make their way to the event and start to stir things up. But hopefully, as I said, that won't happen. And it also goes to show how tense things are here in Spain at the moment with this amnesty on the table. The tension is thick, you can cut it with a knife. And not only is there tension on both sides of the political fence, but there's also people on the left side of politics, some historical figures in the Socialist Party, for example, ex-prime ministers and deputy prime ministers, who are not happy about this proposed amnesty. In fact, they have called the current caretaker prime minister, Pedro Sánchez, a dissident for even talking to Carles Puigdemont. And I've said it once, and I'll say it again, that in my opinion, it's a shame that Spain works in this way, with this type of problem getting in the way of the real problems that this country faces. Politician after politician after politician, government after government after government get caught up in these issues. And some of the real problems that the average Spaniard faces on a day-to-day basis don't get seen to, or don't get the attention that they should get. So it's a shame, as I said, in my opinion, that this thing takes up so much political attention. And even if the Catalonians do get that amnesty, are they going to stop with their independence process? I don't know. And if they do go back to those independence ways and start to organise referendums, we'll have to go through this process again. And let's remember that last time it was a fairly ugly process. But anyway, that's the SH1T you have to put up with if you live in Spain. So what else has been happening in Spain over the last week or so? Well, the country moved one step closer to becoming a nation of nations, and this is because different regional languages were allowed to be spoken by politicians in the National Congress in Madrid for the first time at an official level. And with most things in Spain at a political level, this was also controversial, because the use of these co-official languages, for example, Catalonian, Basque and Galician, for some people is also divisive, especially for people on the far right side of politics, that is Vox. In fact, so unhappy was Vox to hear these languages spoken in the parliament that they stormed out. The members of Vox in the parliament picked up their translation headsets and put them down on Pedro Sánchez's seat in a heap. Such was their disgust of the use of these languages at a national level. And also some members of the Partido Popular were not happy either. But as we know, this is another way that Mr. Sánchez and company are trying to please minority groups in Spain by promoting the use of their languages at a national level. So linguistic disputes also causing headaches for some politicians in Spain over the last week or so. Now, I don't really have a clear opinion on this. I can understand the point of view of those regional politicians that want to hear their language spoken at a national level, but I also understand the argument on the other side, which is, why do we need to do this when everyone speaks Castellano Spanish? Why not have one language and make things a whole lot simpler, and also save some money, or put that money to better use? But hey, that's just my opinion too. And the final story that I want to speak about today, a fitting story considering the fact that I have a major highway beside me here, is the fact that Brussels has decided to postpone the implementation of tolls on all roads here in Spain in 2024. And let's be honest, that's good news for the average motorist, because the idea was that roads like this one that I have behind me, which is the A3 motorway that takes people from Madrid to Valencia or vice versa, also to other parts of the country, for example Murcia or Alicante, the idea was that these roads were going to have a toll slapped on them, as I said, in 2024. But it's been scrapped. And considering what average salaries in this country are, considering what people pay for fuel, I'm sure that the average Spaniard and the average Spanish motorist is, as I said before, very, very happy. Because considering that the average taxpayer here in Spain is already smashed by taxes on a weekly, monthly, yearly basis, another tax wouldn't have gone down very well. And let's be honest about this, here in Spain, people don't like to pay for roads. The majority of people, when given a free road and a toll road to the same destination, even if the free road is completely blocked with traffic, will choose the free road 99.9% of the time, or at least that's what I've seen over my years here in Spain. Toll roads, you could say, are for suckers. But anyway, on that note, I'm going to wrap the video up. Questions and comments, please leave them in the section below. If you have an opinion about any of the topics that I have spoken about today, the comment section is the place for you. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't. I'll see you in the next video. Hasta luego from the outskirts of Madrid. Bye.